Hey all, and welcome back to the HSC playthrough of Super Mario 64. We'll be taking on Bowser for the second time shortly, but first we have to go back to Dire Docks.
No,
well, I guess we're fucking doing it now. I should really read the star guide before I start opening my fat mouth. But I did say we were going to talk about Charles Martinet, so as we go through another fire level, I guess I will just tab on over to his Wikipedia page and tell you that he voiced Super Mario, as well as Super Luigi, Super Wario, Super Waluigi, and other characters, including the baby variants, from 1994 to 2023. And then he was taken over by, I think, a dude called Kevin, whose name I haven't committed to memory yet, and
Kevin Afghani.
That's the one, and the rest is essentially history. And, I guess, Rich, I'll hand over to you. What's his history?
I mean, I have to say, sort of, Charles Martinet has always been obviously connected with Mario since the early 90s, and really hasn't done many roles outside of Mario. Like, there's a few. So, for example, in there's a couple of films that are on the list, but not many, and then a few sort of bits of TV in the 90s. A few more video games, like I think probably the most famous is probably, pretty sure he voices one of the dragons in Skyrim.
Parthenax, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. And sort of then, yeah, there's a few others here and there, but it pretty much is the Mario clan.
Yeah, and speaking of, he was Mario's dad in the Mario film. He was that dude Giuseppe in the bar who was literally Mario. You could slap a cap on him and no one would be able to tell the difference.
No, I know. And I think most people will say that he has been a consistently positive ambassador for Mario as a character, and just brings a lot of joy to the whole shebang. I mean, I think pretty much most people who are aware of Charles Martinet sort of have heard the story of his audition for the character in 1991, because that's actually when he started playing Mario, which is 1991.
Right.
Because it was a trade show where people were going to be sort of talking to the character. And so he sort of walked in, I think, sort of like pretty much off the street, came in right at the last minute.
Did you say, it's a me, I'm a here?
Well, the thing is that this just said, you're an Italian plumber from Brooklyn, and he sort of planned to go for the stereotypical sort of raspy American Italian.
Yeah, word for word from Wikipedia, I get it.
Yeah. And then thought, nah, it's a bit harsh, and so just went in with the complete random babbling of it's a me, Mario!
You get the pepperoni and you put it over here, then you get the cheese. Yeah, he's told this story so many times, I almost have it, like, line for line committed to memory.
And I mean, it's a story that I don't think I'll ever tire of hearing. It's just sort of, you can just hear the joy of him sort of, getting that. I think what I remember sort of as part of the story is that they sort of just let the tape to run, and basically he just didn't stop until the tape ran out.
Yeah.
The fact that he was the last person in on the day, and just one moment. I think it happens more often than you think of. It just so happens that sort of the last person through the door happens to be the one. When it comes to casting, you kind of look at them and just go, yes. And they can come from sort of the most unknown of places. Obviously, Super Mario 64 really is the landmark of his voice as Mario, because before then it had only been in sort of little bits and places, like trade shows, the sort of digital puppetry thing, arcade machines. But this was the first time that really Mario with a voice came into people's homes, and obviously has then been such a huge part ever since. if I recall correctly, when it comes to the film, which effectively is Charles Martinet's last official time voicing a character in a Mario game, not specifically Mario, he gets to say something like, "That's my boy." It's sort of like one of the last lines, and that's just a really sweet little thing to have.
It's like passing the torch, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's passing the torch. Obviously, in the film, it's Chris Pratt, who...
He was fine.
Yeah, he was fine. He was not probably the best possible choice, but he did do a very decent Mario impression. They just obviously didn't get him to use it for the majority of the film.
Although, to be fair, during his audition, his ability to do a triple flip did kind of seal the deal for him. And then on the way out, he collected the 8 red coins and got the star, and Miyamoto was like, "Yes, that's him! That's Mario!"
Just having the mental image now that he spent all this time practicing it because he'd been given the wrong message that it was live action.
I'll never forget when he was like, "I spent most of my youth stomping ... pause for effect, Koopas."
But yeah, so obviously then, since Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Kevin Afghani has taken over the role. Actually does a pretty damn decent job. Like, there was sort of, when the initial trailers for Wonder came out, there were sort of questions of going, will this be the first time that we hear a voice that's not Charles Martinet or not? Because obviously the sort of time of the crossover was, it was all getting sort of announced around that same time.
Yeah.
And people were sort of just like, it sounds like Charles, but also it doesn't sound like Charles. We don't know what to feel about this. And in the end, did a great job, and I can't wait to see what he does moving forward with the role. But
I'm looking forward to Kevin's takes in Mario and Luigi Brothership, because the RPGs really give the character a lot more time to shine.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like, I'll say the voicing Wonder, it doesn't really do it for me personally, but I don't blame Kevin Afghani at all for that. I would imagine that his entire direction for that was like, this is what Mario sounds like, do this. And that's always going to be, like, this is one of the most iconic voice acting roles in history. So, like, you're naturally gonna be compared to that. I feel like over time, as he starts to kind of grow into his own performance of it, rather than just being so similar, we'll get used to it and we'll come to really enjoy that just in general. Because I remember a similar sort of thing happening when Sonic X first came out and people were hearing Jason Griffith's Sonic for the first time, and it kind of felt like, this is off-brand Ryan Drummond. But then as the games went on and he grew into the role and it kind of became his own take on Sonic, then it's like, no, actually this guy's really good at what he does.
And then it kind of peaked with Black Knight and Unleashed. I'd say those were his 2 best roles, yeah.
Like, that is just a really fucking good Sonic voice. And I also feel that, like, they're admittedly, because, like, it's easier to replace Sonic, theoretically, because, like, Sonic has never had, like, one long-running consistent voice like Mario has. Like, they have had so many voice actors for Sonic now at this point. But even then, it's like, it normally takes a bit of time for, like, a new actor to transition from an impersonation to a, like, new performance.
I mean, sort of, I'd say the biggest example, and probably the closest to sort of the Mario situation, would be obviously the voice of Mickey Mouse, because Wayne Allwine was the voice of Mickey for such a long time that when the shift came to Brett Ewan, there was that initial thing of going, oh, this is different, it's close, but it's not quite there. But when you've had sort of one particular specific voice for such a long time, it is going to take time to sort of readjust to something new. And I think that, honestly, while there's sort of some questions about how Nintendo specifically handled the whole switch over, something felt a little bit off, which was weird, but outside of that, it's going to be fun just sort of, seeing where things go from here, because it is inevitable with voice actors of long-running characters that there is going to come a point where they are going to have someone new come into the role, because either the voice actor can no longer do the role, like their voice might have changed so much that it's become too painful to do the role. They might have sadly passed away, or they might have decided that they want to retire from it. Or, they might have decided they want to go a different direction, so decide to go for someone else to do the voice. That one always makes me feel a little bit gross.
Yeah.
But sort of the other ones, it happens, and I think as long as people welcome voice actors who sort of take on these challenges with open arms and sort of a chance, they will get there in time. It's just going to take everyone time to adjust.
Thing is, like, you were saying about how you don't feel comfortable with like how they did the changeover and that. I think they handled it fairly well, honestly. Like the fact that Charles was able to make the announcement himself, which is like that never happens, but also the fact that like it seemed to be a mutually agreed thing, rather than like industry standard, which is they just don't call you back. I just don't really see that as that much of a problem.
It's better than most of the sort of situations they do, but I just seem to recall there just being sort of slight oddities about sort of, he didn't necessarily say that he felt it was time to retire, and there was something that felt off to me.
It was a bit too sudden.
Yeah, it sort of felt like it came out of nowhere, and that might just be, we're not used to long-time voice actors retiring from roles. Most of the time they die before then.
Yeah, rip Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And Rachel Lillis, the voice of Misty, Jessie, etc. in the Pokemon dub, who passed away very recently at the time of this recording.
I know, it's so sad.
That's especially rough because like she was sick rather than just age, but the thing is with changeover is that I think it's very hard that if you're going to be replacing such a beloved actor, there really isn't like a right way to do it, because like people are going to be upset no matter what, and I just appreciate the fact that Nintendo worked with him to announce it rather than like just went ahead and did it.
Yes, and I think that definitely all the better for that, and it definitely made that transition a hell of a lot smoother.
I'm glad we were able to have these types of conversations to kind of mitigate the absolute insanity that was the previous part.
I'm just glad we're talking about Mario at least somewhat tangentially this time.
Oh, God bless, God bless.
But I will say this particular mission is probably my... like, anything that involves coming up here, both for the red coins and for the 100 coins here, like, just having to do this slow platforming section, like, you're seeing the good take here, so it's fine. But making some of these jumps, the depth perception you get, it's not that great. You are gonna fall down and have to work your way up more than a handful of times when you play this.
So I guess we'll end this section about Charles Martinet by just saying thank you, Charles, and I hope to see more of you playing with your Mario and Luigi dolls at some point in the future, if you're even allowed to at this point.
Thank you so much for voicing our game.
Alright, now we're going to check out one of the first upstairs level, and oh, thank the Matrix, it is a snow-based level, so just think of yourself in a cool environment, and you will be there.
I fucking wish it worked like that.
Thank you. I guess.
Look, one of these has a star.
So were you guys just like trapped inside the walls until we got up to this point?
It's kind of hard to tell, because they were at least locked in, weren't they?
Yeah.
Like, imagine if Mario was just like, no, I don't feel like cake today, got tummy ache, and they were just stuck here with no food for like, probably a week or so.
And then Mario comes in, and it's like, there's half-eaten toads everywhere, some of them are skeletons.
Yeah, I've read the Creepypasta wiki too.
I've seen all the mods, yes. Yeah, there he is! And the key to finding this one is, you can see it in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of strange that it's just a standard snow level they use that gimmick for, and not like the ghost house level.
Yeah, it is odd. I mean, something that I can quite happily point out is that this is one of probably the 2 levels that I distinctly recall in the DS version had a whole gimmick with Mario being able to lose his hat. I mean, obviously, they introduced the whole gimmick of being able to wear the different hats to impersonate the different characters to be able to have different skill sets. But yeah, this was a sort of specific area where if you got blown off by the Snowman...
Cough, cough.
The other one was in Shifting Sandland. The vulture could steal your hat, and you had to reclaim it, which I think is how you got the star, actually.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you said got blown off by a snowman, and I've just been giggling to myself since then.
Oh, Flame, grow up. So I like this level, but I feel like the Cool Mountain one is just a little bit better, it's a bit more iconic. I seem to recall, actually, with this dude here. It might have been during the Super Nintendo Fun Run, maybe just a random stream, but I got knocked off into, like, the ice water, and then the bully just exploded behind me.
I think that was our showcase stream of the remasters.
Ah.
That was one hell of a stream, and like I just remember because we did all 3 games back to back. It was like 6 in the morning when we finished up, and like I listened back to the Galaxy section of that a little while ago, and I am just babbling incoherently for like 3 hours straight there.
Surely you do that all the time, Flame.
Hey, sometimes some of the things I'm saying here somewhat resemble words. Like there's a bit of the English language here.
Back in we go.
Well, from the freezing ponds. This is one of those clues on the star name that really doesn't tell you what you need to do, so good luck, just do as I'm doing here.
I might as well just go da-da-da-da-da-da, go fuck yourself.
It's by the snow. It's like when you're in like fucking Mad Space or Meet Your Herd and the clue is a high place. It's like you mean fucking anywhere.
This is not a lie. Surprised you don't develop trust issues from moments in games like that.
Well, the thing is, like, at least with Mad Space, you know that he's bullshitting you. Like in fucking Eggman Landing Unleashed, where you have them QTE cannons that you get used to, like, just press the button where, like, that's pointing the way you need to go, and it gives you the prompt, except sometimes in Eggman Land on the second half of it, it just lies, and you need to go forward, but it's telling you to press A to go up. Like, fuck you. And now we get some fun again.
Well, I'm all out of stuff to say this session. Richie, what's your favourite ice level in a video game? Or at least, let's say, something from your top 10.
God. The Christmassy level from Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Just makes me happy.
I like some parts of that world, except for the bit with the Christmas trees and shit. I don't like the Christmas look at all, but I do appreciate the general cozy vibe once you get inside the building.
He's a humbug, he doesn't like Christmas.
If I'm talking about like ice levels that I like, the first one that comes to mind is always going to be the Be Cool, Be Wild, Be Groovy section from Ice Captain Adventure. Like, that is just so iconic. You're on the snowboard, you're just going down the hill, you have absolutely nothing obstructing you whatsoever, but it just feels good to play.
Well, are you describing like that section or just Ice Cap Zone in general? Because it's exactly the same thing.
Well, I mean, like, the first part of it, it's like fun if you know the skips, but otherwise it's a little bit on the slower side. But once you get to that catharsis part on the snowboard, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna have fun now.
I would say Freeze Easy Peak for me. It's just the perfect balance of snow, ice, and since it's got a Christmassy theme, it's just perfect. It's just perfect, okay? Get off my back.
God, it is so refreshing looking at those visuals right now.
It really is.
Oh, someone pass me a Calippo.
There's gonna be someone who finds this video in like November or some shit and they're gonna wonder what the fuck we're talking about.
Like they're freezing to death and they're like, oh my god, yes. Yes!
Please, can we go back to Leave of Lava Land?
Yeah, so for those uninitiated and watching this in the middle of November and December, we're recording this in the middle of August and it's bloody warm.
We've bitched about that already this session, but that is also kind of in our nature. Like,
yeah.
That is like our one safe talking point in this country, isn't it? It's the weather. It's like, we'll bitch when it's hot, we'll bitch when it's cold, we'll bitch when it's snowing. When it's snowing, it's especially fun because the entire country comes to a standstill. Like, if you need to get on a train, if you need to get on a bus, if you need a flight, like, you're shit out of luck.
Well, it's exactly the same as if it's too wet, everything stops. If it's too hot, everything stops. Basically, we're just not able to deal with extremes of temperature, which, you know, great considering we're in the middle of global warming and the entire climate's all completely buggered up.
Hey, we've had the politics episode, thank you very much. Also, I like how you were running around that dude for much longer than the eye. The eye just kind of, like, gets dizzy and explodes. This dude falls over and has a heart attack.
And that's why I prefer doing it to this dude.
Okay, well, I know not to throw any snowballs at Flame from now on. You can go call yourself, I guess.
That's alright, I'm the one not getting pelted in the fucking face.
Did people ever do that in your school, like hide rocks in the snow?
No.
I don't know anyone who did anything like that.
Alright, you are one of the lucky ones.
I'm glad you can't read between the lines.
What did he mean by this? God, I wish I wasn't stupid.
I didn't really care for any of that kind of thing in school, but like, I was the kind who would just deliberately stay out of the way whenever it was like that, because I know it might be a shocker, but I'm kind of socially awkward, so I just stay away from people.
Never honestly thought about that. If a Flame's inwardly thinking, shut the fuck up, you lying bastard.
No, what I'm thinking I can't say on YouTube right now.
Ah, very good, very good.
I really wish we had this PNG snow. It's like so obvious what's going on there, because when you tilt the camera, it doesn't really adapt to it. Like, you can see it's like all still coming from the same places on the screen.
It's like a green screen filter, just like put it over any video. Like, panic in fucking England today as paper snow falls from the sky.
It looks like a green screen from people who don't know how to use a green screen. You know, when you get like the artifacting around the edges. It can be fun to play with that though, even if it is really shit. Like, I had a green screen when I was doing my media stuff in A2, and, you know, we might have spent more time dicking around than actually doing our coursework with that.
Well, you know, I played a character called Eddie the Ice.
Yeah, that video's still on the HFC channel somewhere, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure it is. That was my A-level coursework, and we got an A for that. I really don't think we should have, but the teacher was a very nice bloke, so, you know.
The thing with media studies coursework is that it's less about what you actually make and more about how well you can bullshit your documentation with it.
Yeah.
And that's why I did well in it as well.
Nah.
It's like, yeah, I filmed this on a fucking, like, 30 quid Sony bloggy camera and it looked like shit. But, you know, I could write about all the sociological theory behind what I did.
Oh wait, no, I don't think I played Eddie. I think that was my mate. I was the dude who was like buying or selling cocaine that was just like a bag of sugar.
Oh, one of the guys I work with on my project ended up moving partway through and then hating me and being passive aggressive about me on the internet. So that was fun to kind of clean up after the fact.
You can't just drop that at the end of a video.
Yeah, I can, because then you can't ask me to clarify.
Flame's deadly secrets. Alright, folks, we are gonna cut off here. We'll see you next week when we bring the Super Mario 64 playthrough to a close. So please, please come back then. I beg you.